Good morning, everyone. Today we have Tushar Chawla with us, who is one of a Canadian citizen and a licensed immigration consultant in Canada. Tushar has worked in many different roles, and I would like to welcome Tushar, and who has worked in many roles as in South Asia, head of Niagara College, and several management positions in hotel in Canada, Australia, and USA. He's one of a very prominent personality in terms of our education industry and the most important into the immigration also. He also has a Canadian MBA and is one of a certified human resources leader destination holder and has studied and a part-time from Niagara College. Oh, sorry, he has studied full-time and a part-time in Niagara College, Sheridan College, Georgian College, Ryerson University. Tushar, you have a huge number of degrees on hand.
I know,
Really.
it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So presently he's a director of Global Hunt Immigration Corporation, which is based in Niagara Falls. So he's right now live from Niagara Falls, almost at late night, 10:30 if I'm not wrong.
12 o'clock actually, 12:05.
Oh. Thanks Tushar to be live with our students. And here there are a lot of questions coming up in the students' mind with this COVID situations and post and pre-COVID. That is it. What would be a scenario in the postgraduate work permit once they land? Whether the students would be getting enough experience on hand, especially when the government has informed that they can study online and that would be counted in this postgraduate work permit. But whether that will affect in the resume once they go into the job market, and how good is with an online studies, and how is about the Canadian situations and being a Niagara city as one of a tourist destination. How's the things going on with this currently in the COVID? So now, Tushar, it's with you now. You can start your session.
Okay, great. Well, everybody, good morning. It's morning time in India. हिंदी में मैं बोलता हूँ, so no problem. English and Hindi both चलेगा. कोई भी दिक्कत नहीं है. So I want to touch base about COVID questions first and see how everybody's feeling right now. There's a lot of people here who are probably worried कि COVID में हमारे को job मिलेगी कि नहीं मिलेगी. Are we able to get postgraduate work permit? Canada, look for us to live in Canada. So, so first thing is first. Nothing to worry about, guys, girls, folks. The whole world is into COVID right now. We are also sitting at home like you are. All the college and universities are preparing well for students to arrive. Deliver quality education online for all of them. Experience will be different. There is no doubt. It is a new world that we are going to be living in. We will be seeing that new world ourselves. We are preparing for it. All of you are inside this new world. Not a problem. As long as you are focused for your studies, you will be able to finish your studies online. You will be able to get a postgraduate work permit. So the Canadian immigration is one of the only immigration in the world right now who's actually supporting immigration to Canada. They still have open many programs where people are investing and coming and moving to Canada. And we are looking forward that how they're supporting students as well. We are still waiting to hear back कि students का कब आ सकेंगे यहाँ पे. End of this month, we should be able to when you guys can travel. Well, actually, some of you can travel if you have study permit that was approved by or on March 18th. Those people can travel. But other than that, my personal advice would be everybody should remain focused for coming to Canada. If you are coming in September, jobs भी हैं यहाँ पे. सबको पोस्ट ग्रेजुएट वर्क परमिट भी मिलेगा और आपकी पढ़ाई भी कंप्लीट क्या फर्क होगा? People probably will get less hours, I think. Full-time job 40 hours hai, you probably are looking, maybe employers will start giving you 30 hours until the is out, maybe in 2 years from now, we don't know, maybe less than that. But the jobs are still going to be there. I had a phone call from a few students today. They were coming back from applying for the postgraduate work permit, और सबको job मिल गई. So they all are working. A few of them, I actually spoke to them today. तो बहुत लोगों को job मिल भी रही है. Everybody is doing well. Pritesh, any comments?
Just your audio is not like proper. Can you just speak a little louder or make it a little close to the mic? Yeah.
Is it better now?
I think so. I think so. I hope couple of guys can confirm that it is audible now. It was like Yash who was not audible, and might be Pranav also.
It's better now?
It's audible.
Yes, and now it's better. Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So the COVID situation, obviously, we're just touching base about jobs will be there. I mean, the whole country, the Canada has done extremely well. The government of Canada has supported many businesses and are still supporting and big and small businesses and allowing them back. So the Canadian government is supporting all of the absolutely less hours, but there should be opportunities that will still exist for all of you. So think about it like that कि अगर आप लोग अभी पढ़ने आ रहे हो और 2 साल पढ़ाई कर रहे हो, तब तक तो सब कुछ वैसे ही नॉर्मल हो जाएगा. And part time आप लोग जब जॉब करोगे, you will be working 20 hours a week. And full time जब आप करोगे, then there is no limit. So once you're out, after you finish your studies, then you can work as many hours as you wish at that point. There are many factors that you, as a student, you should be aware. जब आप लोग student यहाँ पे आते हो, the day you remember, guys, this is the biggest. The day you start your studies, that's the day you can start working. If you come 4 months before your start of your studies, you cannot work off campus or on campus. तो ये बात आप लोग सब लोग याद रखना. Again, the day you start your studies is that day when you can start working off campus 20 hours a week. And when can you work full time in the study time? Well, when you have a break between, it's a scheduled break. It's not a break कि आपने program बीच में छोड़ दिया और दूसरे program में आप जा रहे हो और full time काम कर रहे हो. It's a scheduled break. That means आपका जो program चल रहा है वो 8 महीने चला, 4 महीने रुक गया और फिर 8 महीने चला. तो बीच में जो 4 महीने गैप मिला, आप full time job कर सकते हो. अब आप पार्ट टाइम तो 20 आवर्स कंटिन्यू कर ही रहे थे ऑफ कैंपस, लेकिन अगर आपको ऑन कैंपस में कोई भी बिजनेस रखता है, आप ऑन कैंपस फुल टाइम जॉब कर सकते हो. सो व्हाट हैपेंस नाउ व्हेन यू फिनिश योर स्टडीज, गाइस? व्हेन यू फिनिश योर स्टडी, the day you finish your studies, you have to wait for your final year transcript. Once you have the final year transcript, you apply for postgraduate work permit. The day you apply for your work permit, आप उसी दिन से full time job कर सकते हो. But remember, जो आप 20 hours a week job कर रहे थे कनाडा में, you will stop the day you finish your class. You stop working. और जब आपने work permit डाल दिया, you are legally allowed to work full time. Work permit processing time, approximately right now, it's about 100 days. So what that means is कि आप wait करोगे 3 and 3.5 months, but you will still be legally allowed to work. I think many of you have friends already studying in Canada, and you probably are aware that when you study for 1 year, you get 1 year work permit. When you study for 2 years, you get 3 years work permit. So 3 years work permit. That hasn't changed yet. So that is still there and still existing. So it's a great opportunity for everybody to come and study for at least 2 years to be able to become eligible for applying for a 3 years work permit. Coach Pritesh, there's anything you want to add? Any questions?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Can student claim their online working hours while they in Canada?
Online working hours? Yeah, online studying.
Online studies working hours. Can the student claim when they in Canada?
So online, so if your question is, can student become eligible to apply for postgraduate work permit after studying online due to COVID-19? The answer is yes.
Hello.
Hello, Akash.
My question is, if I took a 1 year course in Ontario, and after completion of the 1 year course, I go to Nova Scotia or any Atlantic province, then what will be scenario of PGWP
So Akash, are you coming after 12th or bachelor?
after bachelor's?
So you have a bachelor degree, and are you
Yes.
coming to Ontario, or are you going to another province to study?
I took a first program in the Ontario, and I'm planning my second program in Nova Scotia.
Okay, so you've already taken admission for Nova Scotia.
No, I will take after the completion of first.
Okay, and sorry, and what's your question again?
It will like 1 year course in Ontario and second year course in Nova Scotia. Then it will be affect anything in PGWP, like the length of the PGWP.
The only time it affects if it's not a DLI college that you are enrolled into.
Sorry, daylight college.
So if it's a community college that you're going into in that province, then you are okay. And if you did not have a gap of more than 5 months, then you are okay.
Okay.
अगर ये दोनों चीजें ठीक है, then you are okay to go, and then you can explain when you apply for your postgraduate work permit.
Okay. Thank
Right.
you.
Right. No, good question. Yeah.
Also, hi, good morning.
Hi.
I would like to add something here, that there's this thing in India that many people say, if they are coming with +2 degree, they presume that they won't be able to crack the CRS score, and in order to maintain that, they want to change the province. Like, they are coming with the mindset that they have to change the province. So is there something you would like to highlight here? That any other cases you have come across that the +2 students, they are pursuing their diploma here, and then what is the thing they have to do in order to qualify for the PR? Ultimate goal is PR.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a great question. I love that question because we have experience in both areas. So we have students in Niagara Falls right now. One girl is actually 18. She just got 19 years old. She's working for a restaurant as a cook. So the employer nominated her for 600 points, and she's becoming a permanent resident right within the first year of her work permit that she just received. We have many students in that criteria who the employer nominates and gives you 600 points in a program that's employer driven in Canada in immigration. We actually give a letter to employees to show it to employers so the employers can learn how easy it is for them to nominate their employees. So that's one option. And the second option is, let's just say you don't become a cook or you don't become a supervisor in Ontario and you have grade 12. So the employer cannot even nominate you. You will not become a permanent resident because you don't have a management position or you're not a chef or cook in a kitchen. Then you should leave the province and go to another province where our entry level position will qualify you for permanent residence. So we do that consulting in our office where we guide students to show them that where can they move so that even a call center job would bring them close to becoming a permanent resident. And in some provinces, they could even land there and apply for nomination from that province within a month's time. So which is fantastic. So there is always a legal way to be able to take advantage of permanent residence as long as you are willing to move, which most of the people are because they're single and they want to explore Canada like young people come. So I think it's not a problem for many people to move. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
So that girl who studied did she enroll into the hotel management criteria or she was having a different degree? The girl which got 600 points.
she had a business. Well, you know what? No, she had a protection security program. She did a protection security because she really wanted something easy to study. So she actually did a 2-year protection security law, and she became a cook in a kitchen.
So is it advisable to become a cook after studying this subject?
Yes, for her and for many people, because cook is the easiest way to become a permanent resident when you have a job as a cook.
Because I have a positive aspect, huh?
If you don't mind cooking. Sure.
It's on mute. It's on mute. Pritesh bhai, it's on mute.
Tushar, there is one more question in the student's mind, and being as a consultant, I'm getting across from India this question. That as the government, as all the colleges and the university says you can start online studies without your study permit approved. Let's suppose that they are starting the studies and something comes very negative in the visa. It would be 100% refund from the college end, or what the case would be at that point of time?
Yeah, so it's a good question, and I would be hesitant to start any studies without having a study permit approved. I would only do it, and now that depends on the college you're dealing with, but I would only do it if the college would agree, which more than likely they won't, but if the college would agree to give you a refund if the study permit was not approved.
Yeah, so students should confirm with colleges on the email that they will get the 100% refunds if the visa is not approved, right?
Yeah, it's such an exceptional because the visas are being delayed. Is that why you're asking that question, or?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I mean the safest would be move it to the next intake. If the college would not refund, then absolutely move it to the next intake. If the college would refund, by all means, yeah, go take the risk, no problem.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, good question. Yeah.
There is also one more question came to me that that GIC, that's a guaranteed investment certificate from Scotia, ICICI or CIBC. Student can get from the first day $2,000 and subsequent $670 every month on month. अगर वो बच्चा अभी ऑनलाइन स्टडीज करता है, 1 साल का स्टूडेंट है, इफ ही स्टडिंग ओनली 1 ईयर, अगर वो GIC का फंड 6 महीने बाद ही वहां लैंड होने वाला है, so how it would be, like whether they will get only 6/7 or they will get the funds double of that?
Yeah. So logically, GIC, and this is logical because I was supposed to talk to the guy at ICICI. I actually forgot. We can do that tomorrow. But logically, it triggers the GIC is made to trigger when you start your studies. That's when it's made to trigger.
Yeah.
So based on that, if your studies has already begun, और यहाँ अगर आप 6 महीने बाद आ रहे हो या 8 महीने बाद आ रहे हो, आपको लमसम पेमेंट मिल जानी चाहिए logically.
Okay. So
But
instead
with
of
condition
2,000,
we'll have to verify because उनको भी अपने system probably बैंक में modify करने पड़ेंगे to be able to cater this.
yes.
Right. But no, that's a great question. Yeah.
Pritesh bhai, one of my students has already started his online classes.
Yep.
That is Bhagyesh Vadan, if he's there. Bhagyesh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's there. If you would like to share something, Bhagyesh.
Yeah. Sir, I have started my online study in a Matrix College and in last few weeks, but I didn't confirm as you say earlier that if study permit is not approved, then it will refund all the fees. So it will dangerous for me or not?
कौन से college में भगेश?
Matrix College, Montreal.
Matrix College, Montreal. You a Gocool student?
Yeah.
Okay. तो अभी पढ़ाई अभी first semester start किया है?
Yeah, first semester.
और study permit अभी processing में है?
स्टडी परमिट तो अभी नहीं है मेरे पास अभी तो।
अप्लाई किया आपने? Sorry?
अभी करने का है अप्लाई।
Okay, so I think Gocool can send an email on your behalf and check with the college कि ऐसे exceptional circumstance में where do you stand, just to help you.
Okay.
Yes.
That would be the best to first hand find out from the college कि उनकी policies क्या हैं and if they can override that policies to help you, but they'll have to get an answer for you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bhagesh. Tushar, there is one more question from the student Ayushi, and she wants to ask that if she is taking two different courses as a first year right now, going with one college, and finishing with that program, she is moving to another college. Would she eligible for 3 years work permit?
Yes, good question. So as long as it's a community college, and as long as the first program finishes and you start the second program no later than 5 months of break,
Okay.
then you will be eligible to apply for 3 years work permit with an explanation.
Oh,
All right. So basically, the thing. Okay. So thing is, if I'm starting in fall, I'll end the year first year course will end in May, right? So I can
Yeah.
apply for the next September intake, right?
Yeah.
That is legit, and it's like it qualifies me for 2+3.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. The only catch is that you will have to stop to work May, June, July, and August. You cannot work part-time, you cannot work full-time, but you'll have to wait for the new program to start.
Tushar, do you want to highlight anything in current COVID situations about the Niagara and about the Toronto? Because the student has heard a lot about that. The COVID cases in Ontario and Montreal is in a huge number. So how the government is in plan with that?
So the whole world is failing right now to an extent.
Yeah.
But everybody in Canada, it's much controlled compared to US because of the low population, obviously.
Yeah.
Canada is going to they are mirroring almost New Zealand. So stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. They
Yep.
have not yet opened everything right now. So I was talking to a manager yesterday at a hotel in Niagara Falls. He said that he opened 100 rooms out of 200, and he had 100 rooms occupied in day 1. And day 2, he's going to keep all the rooms empty. So day 3, the room attendant will go in and clean the room. So if there was corona, it won't exist in day 3. And then day
Oh.
4, they'll rent it again. So those are the precautions everybody's doing right now. This is just an example of one hotel who is actually sacrificing half of their revenue just to keep all the employees and keep all the guests safe. Even the employees, I spoke to some managers. They said, it's great. We are working with masks. It's hard to communicate because we have all the shields in front of us when we check in the guests. But it's keeping everybody safe and everybody's very understanding. And people have started traveling actually. Over the past few days, we have seen people who are walking in Niagara Falls. We have seen people checking in hotels. We have seen people going using patios in dining restaurants. So there's a lot of activities going on. You almost don't feel that COVID exists. Like it's almost like any other virus. This is more damaging. This is more spreading. So you have to have your guard up. You have to be very careful to not to catch it. But you almost see that everybody is in Canada, especially everybody's taking a lot of precaution. So especially when you go to grocery stores, you stand outside, you maintain social distance, you go in, you see the owner of the grocery store cleaning the shelves himself, sanitizing the whole store. So when you see the owner is doing it, the employees are also really, really working hard. So it's the culture that everybody is actually so educated and following all the rules really, really nicely in the country.
Yeah, I have a question, sir.
Yes.
There is a scenario of 14 days quarantine right now. So
Right.
when a student arrives to Canada, will the university or the college campus allow him to stay for 14 days? Or he will have to make some another accommodation?
He has to come prepared with something that would convince the visa officer how he is traveling from the airport, where he is
Okay.
staying, and who is buying groceries for him in the first 14 days. If he
Okay.
doesn't come prepared, he can be sent back to his home country.
Oh, that's worst.
Hello. I have
Hi.
same question regarding the 14 days quarantine. Do you take a Airbnb for the quarantine period? Is it eligible?
Yes, you should be able to book something because now the bookings have started. So you should be able to book something in advance, private accommodation, obviously not sharing, and bring that evidence with you, and then show it at the airport that this is what your plan is for the 14 days.
Okay. So, like my question is, in Airbnb we get one bedroom or something. So it is eligible like for self isolation, like one person in one room, right?
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have one question. Uh,
Yeah.
I've heard many times that students they apply their post graduation work permit from the borders. So, what is this thing of applying from the borders? Does it make a difference?
Yeah, it's so we call it flag polling. It's not allowed right now. Um, so you basically get a permit on the spot. So it does help people who actually would like to go that route. It doesn't stop them to apply online. The only difference is that you have a permit in your hands compared to you are waiting 100 days for a permit to arrive. Both you are able to work the day you apply. You are okay either way.
Mr. Tushar.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Rahul.
Yeah. One query is that suppose the system gets more worse in case the Canada doesn't allow the international students to start September, although they have a visa in hand and they are bound to complete their complete course online itself,
Right.
right? So in that scenario, definitely they won't be able to permit it for post-study work permit. But would that particular qualification will helpful them for PR aspect, or it won't be considered?
Yeah, so I mean, right now the government has been extremely lenient and they're supporting the community colleges. And if the online component exists because of COVID-19, the postgraduate work permit is being approved. Is going to be okay to study online and get the postgraduate work permit.
Even though I complete the entire course from online?
Yes. So right now in July we will have more clarification, but the government is actually working on trying to support as long as it's due to COVID-19. Absolutely, there will be some news coming next month for students. So your other question was for your permanent residency. If you're holding a Canadian education, you get points for that. Okay. So if the COVID-19 has affected the program online, you still will gain points in your Canadian permanent residence because you hold a diploma from a community college or university. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Tushar, I have one question that that these days, due to the pandemic, across the world, there's a huge number of jobless people coming in the market. So, as you know, that Indians are coming for the studies with the plan to settle in Canada. So, what do you see about the market in the coming few years from here? Would Canada will have a effect on this COVID, or the student would not able to get a job to apply for the express entry immigration?
So if you look at it right now, what Canada has done is they're supporting people who are actually working in Canada for 1 year. They're supporting those applications for permanent residence. So if somebody knows the CRS score, which used to be 470s, has gone down to 440, 437. So the Canadian government wants to support people for permanent residence for people who are actually studying in Canada and living and working in Canada first, before they would support others. That's the strategy right now. And that's the strategy that I would anticipate would also grow in the future. So if you are coming to Canada, you will have opportunities to work. You will have opportunities to settle down. Again, you may have to relocate to another province, which should be okay for many people. Canada, people don't want to have too many babies. Canada needs immigrant. You know, there's a big void in the population that needs to be filled every year. And that void has become so big that even though the businesses and the COVID situation has put everything on a halt right now, it is going to pick up in no time. And once it does, everybody's going to catch up.
I hope you also highlighted a few days back when we confirmed that we will go with this session to aware the Indian student that there are some hidden gems in Canada and the student should prepare before they land in Canada. So can you just highlight to our students?
Yeah, so there are
If
few
you- if
things.
you-
I mean, so it's some of them are immigration related, some of them are not. So I'm just going to give you some tips. If you are coming from India and you drive and you have a driving license, so make sure you go to the driving authority, get a letter of experience with you. What that does is it allows you to save maybe $100 to $150 a month on your insurance. So once you're in Canada, if you show that driving license letter, experience letter with a stamp from India, from Indian authorities, you get credit for all those years that you drove in India. And once you get a Canadian license, your insurance goes down from day one. So this is one of the tips many international students are not aware of. So please take advantage of it. I mean, $100 a month saving is really, really good for your insurance. That's one. The other one is that if you have a bachelor's degree and you're coming from India, make sure you prepare yourself to get a education evaluation done. So usually students use WES. You can Google it, WES. It's World Education Services. You get your bachelor's degree evaluated for Canadian equivalency. You will need that document once you apply for your permanent residence. You will also need a police clearance. So once you're studying in Canada, let's just say you have last 4 months of your semester, you're finishing your 2-year program. Now you're going to work 1 year, you'll be successful, you'll apply for your permanent residence in a year's time or in 1.5 years time. Get your police clearance done earlier from the Indian consulate and have it with you. So that's another document that we require for many students when we do their permanent residence applications, and we have to wait for these documents to come. So you could be proactive in preparing yourself in advance to get these documents. Any work experience, guys, you have from India, anytime you apply for a study permit, plug that in. If you have a work experience as a manager, plug that in. Because if you had a bachelor's degree, you had a work experience, let's say for 1 year as a manager in India, and you studied in Canada only for 1 year, and you got 778 in IELTS, more than likely, after working for 1 year, you apply for PR, you get PR. You don't even have to study 2 years, only because you had that 1 year experience in India. So that's how influential that 1 year is. That can play a critical role for your permanent residence file for us to be able to claim some bonuses. So if you have a supervisor experience, a cook experience, or a manager experience from India, bring that letter with you. Make sure you have a contact from your managers, because if somebody visits our office, we recreate that sample letter. We actually make it nice. It's the same message, but we write it so well, and we bring it to your employer, and then the employer signs it and brings it back to us, and then we submit the file. So good idea to continue to keep in touch with your employer, who's going to give you a letter after you arrive to Canada too. So very, very valuable, guys.
Thank you, Tushar, for giving such a valuable information. And this is about the preparing before they fly to Canada or land to Canada. Anything in terms of studies in Canada, what they should take care, because I know that a lot of students go on a wrong track, and there are a lot of parents in this session also. So at least a parent should know that it's not about the Canada immigration issue. It's something my son or daughter has something done wrong with the process. They have not studied thoroughly or finished up the studies, or might be gone in some private college. So can you just share some message to the parents or a student कि उनको क्या care करनी चाहिए?
Right. Well, you can get one-time chance. आप लोग का अगर 4 semester का program है, and if you don't do well, and you have to repeat one semester. One last semester you can repeat, no problem. You can be a part-time student in that last semester, no problem. You can also work for 20 hours a week in that last semester. उसके बाद अगले सेमेस्टर में अगर आप दोबारा फेल हो जाते हो और फिर आप करते हो, then आपका जो वर्क परमिट है that can be challenging to get. So you have to really work hard in a Canadian context. यहाँ पे पढ़ाई मुश्किल नहीं है, but यहाँ पे just the way things work, you have to adopt to it. The first thing you should do when you land to Canada, I speak because I've worked in a college for 10 years and I've met thousands and thousands and thousands of you for 10 years. So the first thing I tell students is that when you come to Canada, you go to Staples. You go to Staples and you buy a big calendar from there. It's very big. You keep that calendar in your room and you write in advance कि अगले 4 महीने में मेरा assignment कब due है, midterm कब due है, final कब due है, और मेरे presentation कब due है. Once you have that big calendar, I can almost promise you that your half of your stress is gone, because now you can predict that this night I can go for a movie, but this weekend I'm just studying for 3 assignments, and then this weekend I can still go for a date. So you have all these options that the big calendar gives you a power for 4 months. And the good thing is every course you get a course outline. So course outline को आप पढ़ोगे, उसमें से आप बाहर निकालोगे सारी dates को और सारे आपके assignments जो due हैं, और फिर आपको समझ में आएगा ये इतना ज़्यादा मुझे क्यों पढ़ा रहे हैं. अब पढ़ाएंगे तो यहाँ पे आए हो तो पढ़ाएंगे obviously. But that's the way you deal with it. Your big calendar, Staples, spend the $30-40 और अपने कमरे में लगा लो, तुम्हारा मैप बन जाएगा, तुम्हें फेल होने की प्रॉब्लम, फेल हो ही नहीं सकता फिर बच्चा, that's one tip. Other than that, show up in the class, show up on time, right? Show up on time. Make sure don't copy work from another student, because nowadays the colleges are very smart. So they have this smart software. So once you submit an assignment, the smart software looks up and finds that you actually copied 2 sentences from this student who graduated 4 years ago. So what happens is then that's plagiarism. So the smart software traps you and then you get a big zero. And usse sab kuch delay ho jata hai. So you know what? Those 2-line copying is not worth it. You will get caught. So, apna kaam karo, apne se karo, and own your grades. Show up to the class, buy books. Books are very expensive. That's something nobody tells you. Any college you meet, they forget to mention that to you. I always used to mention that when you come to Canada, make sure you bring $600 to $700 per semester to buy books. So very, very expensive, but buy those books when you come here. And then you will pass. And if you don't do well in midterm, you can do well in presentation. If you don't do well in presentation, you could do well in final exams. Overall, you will pass. But you have to really be there to understand the system.
Great piece of info, I would say. Thanks for that tip. Also, I would like to ask that what are the tax complications for the students? Like, are they bound to pay the taxes and all?
So they're
like filing of taxes, to be specific.
So once they do a job, they would have a SIN number. They cannot do a job unless and until they have a SIN number. Social insurance number, that's like a tax number in Canada. So obviously you will do your tax return, but it's not complicated. Any accountant would charge $50 to $100 to do the tax return. You would be paying just normal taxes, what the Canadian residents would pay. So that's very standard for everyone.
Yes, sir. You talked about the PCC, right? Police Clearance Certificate.
Yes.
So is it advisable for a student to get it done when he gets the work, when he gets the study permit, or he can come back to India and do that after 2 years?
There is Indian Consulate in Toronto.
Okay.
They work with BLS services. It's a third party. You can apply through them, but apply when you are finishing your studies. Just apply that time. So because then in a year's time, once you do a full-time job, then you'll be ready to apply for PR. Then you already have your police clearance with you.
Okay. So it's advisable to do it from Canada itself.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the police clearance certificate which is given from India, so that won't be valid.
It can be, it cannot be. So yes and no. If it's in the format that the immigration recognizes it, then yes. If it's in the format that some local police thana made it, then no.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, Yazdi.
I have one question regarding the spouse visa.
Yes.
What immigration says regarding the spouse visa? Who can apply from India?
Yeah.
There are
So
lots of rumors going around in India that students who is studying diploma level course in Canada doesn't call the spouse on the spouse visa. So is it true or not?
I've seen a lot of couples who come to Niagara College all the time. They come together also. They come afterwards after 4 months also. So if you are a student, your wife, she will get a work permit, and it would mirror your study permit, and she'll get an open work permit. And it's very common for students to come together also, and it's very common for students to come after 4 months or 8 months.
Okay, so they can apply anytime, right?
Yes, that doesn't really change anything. They can either come together or they can come afterwards. Absolutely.
So in that case, what would be the scenario of the kids?
Yeah, so it's same thing. Under 18 dependent, they can come. The only catch is that if the student starts working on a postgraduate work permit, then the spouse cannot come unless and until the student who is working here on a postgraduate work permit has a manager, supervisor level job. Excuse me. If you don't have that job, like a
spouse
or manager or supervisor, then your spouse cannot
and
come.
spouse. Okay, and spouse education matters or not?
Spouse education meaning?
If spouse is not educated, he or she only passed 10th or 12th, so is it matter or not?
No, it has no interference with that. That has no interference.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Siddharth, Tushar, can you quickly tell us the process to the student and the parents that once a student land, because my job in India is to just try to get them visa with a proper time frame in the college. Once they land over there, what is the next process, step on step, to reach to the permanent residency, and how your company, Global Hut Immigration, can support our students? Can you just give a little information on that?
Right. So, I mean, once you are here, the first thing is first, you have to come and complete your studies in a community college, preferably. Once you do that, you get your work permit. You should have an employer who has given you a position which is a qualifying work experience. So what's a qualifying work experience? It has to fall under NOC 0 O, sometimes O, sometimes 0, they call both 0AB. So what those are, in a nutshell, supervisor, manager, or a cook position. Most of them fall under that. If you don't have the qualifying work experience in Canada, then you cannot apply for you can apply for a permanent residence, but you won't get high points. So it's important for you to secure a job that will be in one of these three criteria, unless you were moving to a province that doesn't require you to have these job titles. So we do a lot of consulting when you're studying in Canada, or if you have friends who are studying in Canada, they can call us. You can Google our name. Anybody can call us, no problem. And we do a lot of consulting, and we use a smartphone technology that splits out scores to us instantly to predict the future of where the student will stand or where the worker will stand with 1 year of work experience or 2 years of work experience. And then we can benchmark of what the scores are and see how they can become permanent residents. There are many people, many employers who will nominate you and give you 600 points. So you can also get a letter from our office and bring it to your employer, and your employer can read that letter and say, wow, I didn't know that I could nominate you. Now, the trick is that letter tells them that you cannot leave them for 2.5 years. So they give you 600 points. आप लोग 2.5 साल जॉब ही नहीं छोड़ सकते. तो which is great. जैसे अगर फास्ट फूड रेस्टोरेंट है, KFC हो गया, मैकडोनल्ड्स हो गया, उनको तो it's high turnover. They're always hiring. जब उनको ये पता लगता है कि मेरे पास ये एम्प्लॉय है, ये मेरे पास 2.5 साल रुकेगा, then उनको भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता आपको PR में सपोर्ट करने के लिए. And that's the letter we give them, right? So we support the student. We show them the way if they're hardworking students, they obviously find their way for permanent residence in a legal way from many employers, and that's what we support. Ritesh?
Yeah, hi Tushar. This is Siddharth from New Delhi branch.
Yeah. Hi.
Tushar, I have a question. I have been an extra of St. Clair College here in India itself. So I have many students now, kind of friends who are still studying in that particular college or still in Canada. Now, what they are facing, the problems are, you were correct, you mentioned in the starting that the working hours have been reduced 20 hours to 10 hours to be specific. But looking at the situation, as soon as if things come to normal, do you think students will not face the situations again in terms of part-time? Will they be able to secure a part-time job easily now, or is it still tough?
So that for this year, I think it is going to be tough.
No, I'm talking about the next year as things come to normal.
Next year will be okay. Everything should be back to normal next year. That's what our hope is right now. We had no idea what COVID meant, and we are very small in this world. We didn't know how small we are. Obviously, with so little we know about the world, with what we have seen, जो हमने देखा है, अभी हमें पता ही नहीं था how little we are. So to our best assumption and our best prayers that yes, everything should come back to normal. Again, it's the best assumption that we have. Countries and developed countries and other countries will be prepared for pandemics like these in the future, and will have a much better plan. That I can tell you.
So I completely agree to that part. But if you see the part, we read all the newses which are coming down from Canada. The ground reality is that the businesses are shutting down, and there is no bigger hope that they would be opening soon after normal also not. So how will that support the student community when they're landing and they need for a desperate part-time job?
So I think the students should come prepared right now with not relying on the part-time jobs, because then it would be misleading.
True.
So they should know that at least they still have the right. The right has not been. I was reading an article today that US is not going to allow any more immigration H-1B visas this year. So at least Canada still has that option for students to be able to work full-time and part-time with the challenges. So that is there. But if they come more prepared, that yes, you know what, I may not be able to find a job. I may only be able to find a job 5 hours a week, not 20 now. So what does that bring me for 5 hours? So if they're more prepared, I think that would be more realistic. And if they find 20, then it's bonus.
So do you think or assume that it will also reduce the payments also in terms of what the current employer was currently paying for the part-time job? So for example, $14 per hour in Ontario. Now, will they reduce that also? Not on the government point of view, on the ground reality, because you know how students face. They don't get $14. We all know that personally also.
So
will they reduce?
Yeah. So it's a good question. Employment Standard Act. There's a minimum wage in Ontario, which is in Canada and every province. So $14 being minimum wage. No, it is not going to be reduced.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tushar. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Just a quick question, sir. Hello. Yeah, just a quick question.
Yes.
There are so many students who apply themselves for PR and they lie somewhere in the middle of the way. So, what does your firm charge for that? Look at the students can contact you directly when they come to Canada.
Yeah, so we have some people who apply directly and they actually get rejections.
Yeah.
So we had a girl, actually, she just got a PR 2 days ago. She did hairdressing program, and she's from Bombay, and she's extremely happy after rejection. She got a PR. So on average, our fee is about $2,000 for express entry.
Okay. And for the normal PNP?
PNP are very, very expensive. So they range from $4,000 to $5,000.
Okay. Yeah.
Tushar,
that's
can you
fine.
just highlight what is the processing time for application for PGWP?
Sorry, come again with the question.
What is the ideal processing time for the postgraduate work permit once the student apply?
I did a postgraduate work permit knowing that it's going to take 100 days, but I got an approval in 2 weeks only because the guy had the biometrics.
Oh, great.
So right now, when the biometrics is not there, it is definitely
Yep.
going to be 120 to 150 days because all the biometrics are still closed. They can't get those fingerprinting done, and the file doesn't trigger the visa officer to open it until the biometrics is there.
Ekta, you are asking some question. You can ask now.
Hello.
Hi, Ekta.
Yes, sir. Actually, I have already applied for PR. I have filled up express entry and everything, and I'm waiting for PNP for from last 1.5 years. But I'm planning to come to Canada on student visa right now. So, what will be the scenario for PR in my case?
Yeah. So, I mean, if it has been 1.5 years, more than likely you may have to apply again, because if it's more than 6 months, highly likely that the invitation won't come now.
Okay, so I have to apply again. But I am planning to come to Canada on student visa on January in January. So I have to process everything from scratch.
You have not been invited, Ekta, so it doesn't interfere with anything. You
Okay.
can simply be a brand new student who's applying from India to study in Canada, basically.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Siddharth, there was one more question from Ekta when she visited my office, that what is the ground reality of postgraduate work permit once she get for the spouse, because she is going to be with the spouse. So what will be the spouse number of hours in the job and how it would be proceed?
So if she comes on a study permit, her spouse is going to get an open work permit.
Okay.
The open work permit would mirror the study permit valid dates.
Okay.
So if she extends her studies after 8 months, open work permit will be extended all as well, same time. The spouse
Okay.
can work as many hours as he wants, as many jobs as he wants, with any employer he wishes on an open work
Great
permit.
information.
The catch is, once she applies for her postgraduate work permit, spouse will have to stop to work. And she has to have a supervisor, cook, or a manager's job, and then get 3 pay stubs, and then apply for the spouse work permit at that point.
Okay.
So it only changes when she applies for a postgraduate work permit. That's when the complication comes in. But before that, 2 years, if she's studying, no problem.
And Tushar, a lot of students are not filing for the tax returns once they finish up the accounting year in Canada. What is the advice for them?
They should call CRA phone number and inform them and explain to them their situation, and then get some advice from CRA.
Yeah. But can you advise that if they don't file, is it going to impact in their postgraduate work permit or PR? Because like a lot of students doesn't know anything about this tax filing, as the colleges are informing regularly in their webinars or seminars or in class orientation. But a lot of students fail because when they come back to India, I talk about them, what the steps you are taking up. They say, oh, I don't know, this is something about tax, I have to do it. So we say that you must have been informed in your orientations or in regular in the class, but still they fail. So can you pass on the message to all these viewers right now about if the students fail to file and what are the pros and cons for that?
Yeah, so I mean, when you apply for a permanent residence, we actually have some backup documents that we show. One of them can be a T4 and your tax return that you have done in Canada. So if you don't file your tax returns, then we have no backup, which can be challenging. It's still okay if we have pay stubs, but obviously having more tax documents with you just makes your file much more stronger and speaks by itself. So I think it is important that when you go to the college, it takes about $50 or $100. A chartered accountant can file your taxes every year. Wherever you live, just find that sign, who's a chartered accountant in town. Just go meet them and explain to them you are an international student and you have worked part-time this year, and next year before April you are going to be filing taxes for the last year. Basically every year before April, that's what your target should be.
Okay. Any questions from the student? Any more questions?
Someone
Yeah,
in
Bidan. Bidan, can you ask the question?
Yes. So I work from IBM right now, and after completing my studies for 2 years in Canada, if I work the entry-level job, which I'm doing right now, that is in database developers for say, will it be helpful for my PR express entry? I mean to say.
Yeah, so there's thousands and thousands of titles. We obviously have to investigate what knock code does it fall under, and like some of them we know offhand, not all of them, but we'll have to investigate on the knock code just to read the job duties that you have and what job duties would fall under what knock code. A knock code is the one that tells us that if it's a qualifying experience or not, and that needs investigation. So we cannot comment offhand just by all title, but there is many titles in that field that may qualify for PR.
Okay, so can I find it out from the ISCC website, or do I need to? Go
So sure. So it's easy if you just Google find NOC code Canada, and you get to the website, and then you just play around with it, and then you should be able to find your job title there, and then you should be able to find if it's 0OAB, and then you'll be able to make sense of it.
Okay, thank you.
Any more question?
Hello.
Yes, Sohil.
Hello. Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Sohil.
I have a question.
Yes.
I just ask you that if I have been accepted a program that includes optional co-op, should I wait for apply for my co-op work permit until I receive confirmation that I have been accepted into co-op stream?
I've seen many students who get to the airport and they are given co-op work permit right on the spot as well. So it's optional. The co-op work permit, it's a part of your program. So as long as you have a study permit valid, it's a part of the program. It doesn't really, you don't have to worry about co-op work permit at this point. Most of the time, the airport visa officer will just issue you one once you arrive.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes. Hello. Hi. I have a question that can the PNP, if a person has filed a PNP or express file and all of a sudden he wants to go on study permit, so can these both things go hand in hand?
So if a person from India or person living in Canada?
No, from India.
If you have already filed for PNP, for example, and now you want to go on a study permit?
Yeah, exactly. So can these both things go hand in hand, or do I have to withdraw one?
But have you got an invitation?
No, I'm not talking about my personally.
Yeah.
It's just a general question.
If you have not got invitation, it doesn't matter. If you have got invitation and you applied for PR, then it would interfere. But if you just have the PNP file being processed and you start as a student and you have no outcome on the PNP file, then it doesn't interfere with anything.
Okay, I have one more question from a student right now. That she says that, I said that she has already applied for 1 year program, Tushar, and already have a 2 years experience, 1 year experience in the IBM company in Pune. So whether she should opt for a 1 year or 2 years program?
She's in India right now, or she's studying in Canada?
She's in India, working in one company in Pune. So, what the guidance you want to give for the students?
So here's the catch. If she's going to, and I spoke to one student today for half an hour just on that topic. So it's interesting. So what we discussed today was, and same thing, she would fall in the exact same criteria. So if she has 1 year of qualifying experience from India, and she can gain 778 in IELTS general, and the day she applies for her work permit, that day she applies, that day she starts working in Canada on a qualifying work experience, then by the time she hits 11th month, she can apply for PR express entry. But she has to work on that qualifying job from the day she applies for the work permit, not late. So she's going to be at the edge to be able to apply for permanent residence. She will have enough points, considering what we have seen in the last few years, that she would likely be given a chance to apply for permanent residence based on 1 year of experience from India, 778, a bachelor's degree, and a qualifying job from the day she applies her work permit in Canada. But she's obviously, all these conditions have to be met.
Thank you, Tushar. And one more question, just I have got flash in my message, that these days a lot of students, not I hope you know, as you have been working in the college in the past, a lot of students couldn't make it to 6 each and make it to 5.5 in one, and many of the students goes with 5.5 in 2 modules. And there are a lot of consultants who says that, and even the colleges says that admission is possible, visas are possible. These days a lot of rumor are in the market, but with the 5 band also we can get the visa for you. So what the message you want to give to the students?
Yeah, in immigration, we call them ghost agents because they are ghosts. One day, I think the Canadian government is going to come and get them. They're just slow, but one day they'll get them. It's the SGS program. Obviously, it splits out that you have to have 6 band, 6 each, and that's what the colleges, most of the community colleges admission requirement is exactly. It would mirror the SGS requirement, and it's either black or white. There is no exception. Like you cannot just you don't become a trap, and don't try to find a shortcut because it doesn't exist. So you have to take your IELTS 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, it doesn't matter, but you have to continue to work hard to get the right IELTS, which the college has asked you or Gocool has asked you to take. Gocool's interest is to send you to Canada. They would never tell you what the college is asking. They'll tell you exactly what the college wants. They would never tell you anything different. So a little bit of trust in the consultancy that you are working with. We have known Gocool for 10 years. We have worked with them for Niagara College when I was doing the job at the time for 10 years. And we haven't had a single issue or concern that was not addressed by Gocool. So very ethical company, a company that you can trust. And obviously, those are the companies that you want to stick around with and get the right guidance in India.
Thank you, Tushar. Any other questions?
Yeah, Tusharji, one question, like most of the colleges have accepting Duolingo schools for issuing the admissions. And
Right.
there are certain players in the market, they says that we can process the visa file based on the Duolingo school. So we are in a dilemma that whether we should apply for put the application, visa application on based on Duolingo school.
If so, as long as the checklist is showing Duolingo, no problem. If you have the checklist on the CIC website that shows that would write that IELTS or CELPIP or Duolingo, great. But if that Duolingo doesn't exist on that checklist, then absolutely not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. And just
Any
to
other?
add, I mean, I think I'm aware of the Duolingo. The colleges accepted it. I do think the CIC has not accepted it, isn't it, Pritesh? Isn't that the case?
Yes, CIC has not comment anything on the Duolingo English yet on the CIC website.
Right, right. That's what I thought. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it
And
doesn't
even
exist.
even we don't recommend it at the moment to give Duolingo and get the admissions, because it is little tough that we don't know when the IELTS starts and when the students apply for the visa. So we just recommend it to stick on either IELTS or even as an optional as a PTE also, because a lot of visas have been there in the market in the last 2 years with the PTE score.
I see. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
There is an admission on the basis of CELTA. So, do you think it is mandatory to submit the IELTS certificate?
Come again with the question.
There is an admission with the with the requirement of CELTA. On the basis of CELTA, the admission has been given.
Right, right, right.
So, is it necessary to submit the IELTS TRF?
Yeah. So if the checklist doesn't show CELTA, then you must submit IELTS, because IRCC requirement is different. So IRCC has two interpretations. Immigration says, first interpretation, you must meet the college admission requirement.
Yeah.
Now that's could be CELTA.
Yeah.
No problem. Second interpretation, you must meet the SDS program requirement. Now that is IELTS. So obviously you'll have to meet both. You have to meet both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. I have a question.
Yes.
What is the difference between college or university?
Okay. So
sorry, Tushar, in terms of education, she wants to ask what is the difference in terms
it's
of
great.
education?
Yeah. It's I mean, there's many people. You know, like I had an MBA in hospitality and tourism, and I had hotel management from Australia, and then hotel management from Niagara College. So then I wanted to change my field to HR. So I went to a community college. Even after going to a university, I went to Sheridan College to study HR full time, and I was able to change my careers. So the difference is that when you are living in Canada and you don't like your career, you are able to return to a community college in a fast track, accelerated 8 months postgraduate certificate and totally find a new career in 8 months. In a university, you know, you're staying there for a much longer time, creating that career pathway for a bachelor's degree or master's. But colleges is quick in, quick out, more hands-on, more job ready, and then you are out in the market. Both education systems are fantastic. I think universities are probably for international students more expensive, and the admission criteria is much more strict. So, so the college's quality education is fantastic, but it does the trick for you, allowing you to learn a new skill set in just 8 months. So that's the difference.
Sir?
Yes.
Sir, is there any point difference why if we are studying in colleges or universities, like in PR, is there any point difference?
No, the point difference is still, it's the same. You may get extra points if you're doing a 3-year advanced diploma or a bachelor instead of 2 years, but then the points does not change.
Like even if we are studying in either of college or university, the points remain the same.
Correct, because level of the education would be 2 years diploma, 3 years or 4 years bachelor. Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Tushar, I have a question from a student, and that's always comes in my counseling also. That I have seen the students change from Toronto to Montreal, from Regina to Toronto, and there are a lot of students who try to change the college or might be a province during their studies. So, do they have to inform CIC? And if they don't inform, what it affects in their PR file?
No, it doesn't interfere with the PR file. It's very, very common for students not to inform. It's very, very common for students to go on the portal and update it. So both scenarios, it absolutely would not interfere with the PR. No.
But I think they need to update in the CIC just for the reference in the record.
They can update it, absolutely. A great idea. The option is there. But it's not something that will hold them accountable for it in the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about the education gap? Means how many years of gap is valid for a Canadian student visa?
So most of the colleges have admission requirements. I think most of the colleges, I remember, would have 5 years. If you were out of the university and college for 5 years, more than 5 years in India, then it's highly likely you won't get admission in a community college. So most of the colleges were following that for many, many years.
Yeah, but I hope and remember, Tushar, we had one application with that was in Montreal. With 2011 pass out, we did a visa for that, and student was having a genuine work experience in a multinational company,
Right.
and also a couple of years experience also is valid. But that's not in community college. They denied the admission because of the quality application coming these days.
Right.
But there are some colleges who accept that, and visas have been done from us. You
Yeah,
remember
no,
that?
absolutely. And then somebody who has a multinational exposure and great English, by all means, they should be given a chance to come to a college, some college, right? In Canada, absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Any other question? Because I think Tushar has given a good time. It's almost 1:30 right now over there. So, quick question if anybody has in their mind, or we should wrap up the event.
the last question.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
No, as many
Yeah,
questions
you?
as you want. That's why I'm here.
Yes. Sir, is 2-year gap okay in university for university
So
for
that
bachelor?
depends. So like for admission requirement, you mean?
Yeah. No. For visa, I've got admission, but
Right.
for visa.
Yeah, but 2 years is really it's very favorable. It should be very favorable, and it doesn't really stop 2 to 3 years. It a lot of people gain that experience and then go to a university. So
Okay.
that as long as you have everything in place, the IELTS and everything is good, so it should be okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Tushar, one more question I have got from the student. As Canada is a land of opportunities, almost all the students has applied and got the admission. Can you just recommend which are the very, very popular program in terms of the opportunities to settle in Canada in terms of a business background student or IT background student?
Yeah, so there's many programs students can choose from. Like culinary is very popular in Canada. Business management is very popular. Your skills are very, very transferable when you study a program like business. You can study computer programming. You can study computer networking. You can study welding technician. So there's a lot of mechanical engineers from Gujarat who would actually select would select welding technician program, and that's a very high paying job in Canada. There's automotive program, which is very popular. You obviously have to have math, and most of the colleges require math in that program. There's hospitality and tourism. So, but again, there's doesn't matter what you study. It's which field you work in, and then you grow in your life. So you are able to change your careers at any time, even after studies or even after coming here. And if you don't like what you're studying, you can change the program, or you could change your career. So it really doesn't stop you to do that. But the most important thing is it should make sense of having a pattern of studies. So if you are, let's just say, if you are a dentist and you're coming from India, you should not study culinary because it really doesn't make any sense. So if you're a dentist, but if you worked in India as a business dentist for 5 years and ran your own dentistry, and now you want to study business, now that would make sense. So obviously, there has to be a logical sense of how you are positioning your files and what programs you are choosing for Canada.
Thank you, Tushar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any other question?
So no, that's great. Thank you so much, guys. If you still have any questions, change your mind, no problem. I'm still here for 2 minutes, 5 minutes. But it was great seeing all of you. I'm happy to help, and I hope you are bringing some knowledge after you hang up today to be able to, if nothing, if you forget everything, just remember, buy that calendar from Staples. So, and be successful in your studies. At least you do that part, and everything else will follow through in your life.
Yeah. Sorry, Tushar, one more question came from a student that
Sure.
What about the public relation program and the career?
It's a good program. It's challenging to find jobs in that career because you have to be able to make sense of all the public relations government type of positions in Canada. You will get it after you work here for few years, but many international students don't get it in the first 1 or 2 years. So it can be challenging for most of the students. You can mix that program of 8 months public relation and do something else unrelated to public relation, and then your resume will become strong.
A lot of students have applied for these government benefits, which they were giving $2,000. And it will be clearly mentioned that if you are eligible, then only you avail this of benefit. But I came across with a couple of students who were not eligible and they applied and they got the funds from the government. Would they be going to have some issue in the future? Or what they should do? They should return back the funds, or they should inform that they
Absolutely. Yeah. They should return back. The government has an option when they apply for funds. Now they have a button there to say return the funds.
Yeah.
So they should really return those funds. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because that's what the same message I told to my students, that please return, as you might have misled the information and government has given. That doesn't mean that you are eligible. It clearly says that if you are eligible with 5,000 earning last year, then and then only you can apply. But if you have not earned, everything reflects in your T4.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. That's good advice.
Yeah. As India is a country of sports and cricket, as you've been to know. So what about the sports career in Canada? Is it valuable?
Yeah, it's the same. I mean, sports career is valuable anywhere in the world, but you have to be that Olympic type winning sports level to become valuable, obviously.
Yeah, that's a bit challenging in India with the fitness.
Right.
Thanks, Tushar. I know Niagara never sleeps in the night. There's a entertainment city, but you have given a lot of information to my students and parents also.
No,
thank you. We'll keep in touch, and if anything comes, we'll do such session in future. If this COVID gets solved quickly, students are back in September session. It's all good. Otherwise, I think we have to do one more session after Diwali.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, thank you so much. And I sincerely wish good luck to everybody. And thank you, Pritesh.
Thank you, Tushar, on behalf of all the students and parents.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.